Okay, so this is our last morning in Tamara, and I've been out for a little walk this morning. I went up to their stone circle, which is a not exact reproduction of, but inspired by a stone circle that's not far away from here, about an hour away. That's very ancient. That's older than Stonehenge by about 2,000 years. What they understand of any of it, I don't know. I wasn't able to. I guess there were some workshops where they explained their stone circle. There were opportunities for that, but none of them that I caught. So I just went up there without really having much of an idea of how they approach it. When I originally got within sight of it, I saw that there was a Tamaran woman up in the middle of the circle sitting, so I waited outside of her vision and awareness in the surrounding brush until she left, and then made my own way into the stone circle, and just to experience it. And I don't know what I think about it, or what I think about this place. I did want to reflect a little bit about our time here. We were here maybe 4 or 5 nights, 5 nights, maybe even 6 nights. I don't know. I've kind of lost track of time. I can say that it's been a very pleasant, peaceful experience, both in our conference work here and outside of it. I was, and I think Mahoney was also pleasantly surprised at how comfortable we've become in Tamara, knowing that this is basically a kind of a cult. We didn't know what we were in store for, but as it turns out, there are a lot of people here who are sincerely seeking a new, better way of life than what we're accustomed to, and they don't claim to have anything all figured out yet. They're doing research in this community, living research, active research in trying different things. For me, outside of the conference was amazing. It brought together a great group of people. Again, I was skeptical of who was being brought into this conference, whether or not we would just be thrown into this group of flowery-minded academics, and we would be kind of performance pieces within that context. That's what we were concerned about, and that wasn't the case at all. It was a great group of people, some of them indigenous, but those who were mainly academic were also just great people doing amazing experiments all over the world. And we did represent a real segment of the globe. I think we're going to create a website that has a mapping of where all of us come from, but I think we had a good portion. We have people from the Americas, people from the Middle East, people from Africa, people from Australia, people from Europe, I guess, people from Asia. We had in India was represented, but not so much other parts of Asia. So, and I'm sure this group will grow. The question is whether or not this was just another conference, or whether or not we have enough common interest to embark on some kind of project and use one another as strengthening because in the world, people like us doing the things that we're doing in so-called higher education are the minority, really the minority. And so can we form some kind of alliance that helps strengthen us given our usual fringe positioning? I suggested to the group that we do some kind of a research project together. But there are other proposals put forward. One I liked by Gaia University was that we create a system where our students can take courses from one another toward whatever learning pursuits they're on. And so we can form kind of a network of an eco-university as a whole, something of this sort. Don't know. So we'll see what comes of it. Hopefully something. But I wanted to get back to Tamara because this has been a really interesting experience for us. Mahoney related it, and I agree, to somewhat the feeling that we have when we're at the Akoguts and the Sundance encampment. In this space of communal living, you don't feel anywhere near the need to be participating in virtual communities at the same time online, and you kind of lose the sense of urgency and anxiety with pressures of the modern world. And I feel like this has been part of the experience here in Tamera. I certainly have not felt any urgency to produce videos or post photographs online or get involved in any kind of political debates or anything of this sort. And it, from this vantage point, it almost makes me feel like the typical experience I have day to day is among a group of very sick people who are all spending the day coughing on one another. And this is just an analogy that just within the last few minutes came to mind for me. That we're all typically almost like plagued and spending the whole day coughing at each other and spreading our germs and this kind of a thing. Certainly we're not in any position of good social and mental health. I've went on to Facebook and YouTube once a day while here, just to give an update where we're at so that nobody thinks that we've been kidnapped or disappeared. Or to post a picture. I have taken a few pictures. And looking at what's on my news feed or what's on my watch list on YouTube, I realized that I'm for the most part in my normal days exposing myself to all of this coughing and sickness and anger about racism and politics and meaningless popular cultural and drivel that has nothing to do with being a human being. And I'm a little bit worried about as we leave Tamara that we're just going to slip back into that fold and forget the kind of tranquility, the peacefulness that we've enjoyed being here. I do want to, of course, continue having a strong online presence, but I want to start fashioning it in a different way, in a way that is more beneficial to people who are, by whatever means, become exposed to the content that I put online. Not that I want to be ultra serious or anything like that. I like to approach it with good humor, but I like to approach it in a manner that is beneficial to the overall health of the human being, rather than allowing myself to slip into these engagements where I'm what would you say? Receiving the contagion and spreading it, contracting the disease. I really miss Narcissus. He would have been traveling here with us, or we might not have even been traveling at all. It might have just been Narcissus. Because he was the one that was really wanted here, and we've once again been put in a situation where we're kind of being asked to represent. We can't be Narcissus, but what can we do to fill that gap? So I've tried, I don't think not my best, but that's because I think I came in with a lot more of that disease than he would have. He had healed himself in some ways more than I have, and then on the other hand, I think my connection, my ecological connection, was and has been a healing path for me, or a place of sanctity and all of this, a place of what do you call it? Somewhere you can go to seek safety from the disease, from the plague of modern culture. So our experience here at Tamara has been fantastic, but it is time for us to leave, and I don't regret having to leave. I would have been happy to have left yesterday. I don't need another day here. I've experienced it. Now the question is whether or not I can take it and make good use of it, make good use of the experience, and make good use of the network of interesting people that I've been exposed to. One of the days we did kind of a group thing where we had almost like a meditation, and then drew pictures of what Tamara is trying to tell us. And the picture I drew was a bunch of seeds and a lizard. I'd been seeing lizards here, but it reminded me of Namski in the Blackfoot stories. And what I kind of see the group that came here as is really a collection of seeds, or even specimens. And typically, like I expressed to the group yesterday, I typically don't find much interest in collections of displaced specimens as a source of learning or growth or anything like that. But in this case, because we are not defined and not interpreted, and because it's open to new growth in whatever way that goes, feels more to me like we're a collection of seeds. And in the manner of the tobacco seeds that Namski brought, we're kind of a collection outside of nature, outside of the natural, what would naturally happen that we can't reproduce on our own, say by nature as this group, because we are so, like, we're spread all over the place. But with a respect for the rarity of who we are, just like with the rarity of tobacco when you can grow so little in a season, perhaps we can become something special together. We've been thrown into a garden patch and now whether or not we'll grow together is up in the air. We'll see. So yeah, that was in a nutshell some of the things that I wanted to get on the record, my reflections, my time here, what we experienced. And I did record a bit more of it in writing. I haven't done so much video and photography, but a bit more in writing, and I'll continue to reflect on it, but mostly I want to move into whatever's the next steps. So I'm going to push forward and try to organize a research agenda with those who are interested in collaborating in that. And I think that'll be very interesting if we can take on some kind of a question that we can each approach in our own way from our own traditions from these disparate parts of the world. Knowing that we're all trying to do it in a way that's outside of what we're used to in the mainstream culture, I think we might arrive at some interesting learnings. Got no idea where I am right now. I need to find my way back.